Analysts are quietly putting $8 price targets on a coin that's sitting at 68 cents right now, and most people holding SUI have no idea why. Let's talk about what's actually happening with SUI in 2026, because the price action on the surface looks slow, but the setup underneath it is anything but. SUI is up 1.6% on the week, trading at 684, ranked 32nd by market cap. To most people scrolling past that data, it looks like a sleepy mid-tier altcoin doing nothing. But that read is wrong, and the investors who get this right early are going to look back at this window as obvious in hindsight. Here's the specific thing I want you to understand before we go any further. SUI has been in a compression phase. Price consolidating tight, volume relatively quiet, retail attention elsewhere. That pattern, fundamentals building while price sits still, is exactly what precedes the kind of move that makes people kick themselves for not paying attention. We saw it with Solana in its early consolidation phases. We saw it with Avalanche before its breakout. The on-chain data for SUI right now is telling a story that the price chart hasn't caught up to yet. So what actually is SUI, and why does it matter for your portfolio? SUI is a Layer 1 blockchain built from the ground up by former Meta engineers, the same team that worked on the DM project. It uses a completely different programming model called Move, which was designed specifically to handle assets and ownership in a way that Ethereum's Solidity never could cleanly. Think of Ethereum like a city that was built organically over decades. It works, but the roads are congested, the infrastructure is patched together, and scaling it is a constant battle. SUI is like a city that was designed from a blank blueprint with modern urban planning. The roads are wide, the pipes are bigger, and the architecture was built knowing what the future demands. The real-world result of that? SUI is handling transaction finality in under half a second. Gas fees are fractions of a cent, and its object-centric model makes it genuinely better for gaming, DeFi applications, and tokenized assets than most chains that came before it. That's not marketing copy. That's why developers have been migrating to it, and why TVL on SUI has been growing even during periods when the broader market wasn't cooperating. Now let's talk about the actual opportunity, the numbers that matter for your portfolio. If this is helping you think through the SUI setup, subscribe to Crypto Sayans. We break down moves like this before they go mainstream. Here are the realistic price scenarios for SUI through 2026 and into 2027. The base case, where the broader crypto market maintains its current trajectory and Bitcoin holds its macro trend, puts SUI in the $3 to $5 range by the end of 2026. That's a 4 to 7 times return from current prices. Not guaranteed, but grounded in where the fundamentals are heading and what comparable Layer 1 expansions have looked like historically. The bull case, which requires a stronger market environment and a genuine DeFi or gaming narrative to catch fire on SUI's ecosystem, puts targets at $8 to $12. Multiple analysts tracking institutional flows into Layer 1 infrastructure have flagged SUI specifically because the market cap is still small enough that real institutional buying moves the needle dramatically. A single hedge fund or major crypto fund building a position here isn't just noise, it's a catalyst. And the on-chain wallet data is already showing accumulation patterns from addresses that aren't retail. Large wallets have been quietly adding. There are also specific catalysts on the horizon in 2026 that the market hasn't fully priced in. Major exchange listings in Asian markets, continued gaming studio partnerships building natively on SUI, and broader Move ecosystem adoption. All of these are tailwinds that were absent 12 months ago and are becoming real today. But now let's be honest about the risks, because if I don't tell you this part, you shouldn't trust anything else I said. The bear case for SUI is real, and you need to take it seriously. First, competition in the Layer 1 space is brutal, and it's not getting easier. Solana has massive developer mindshare, Ethereum has institutional trust and the deepest liquidity, and newer chains are constantly entering the space, claiming to be faster and cheaper. SUI has to execute, not just on technology, but on ecosystem growth and user retention to justify a re-rating. If developer momentum stalls or a major project on SUI has a high-profile failure, that narrative flips fast. Second, SUI's tokenomics have been a legitimate concern. The unlock schedule for early investors and team allocations has created selling pressure at certain price levels, and that's something you need to watch. When price starts recovering, those unlocks can act like a ceiling. Know what you're walking into. Third, if Bitcoin enters a risk-off phase, regulatory shock, macro deterioration, anything that sends crypto broadly lower, a rank 32 altcoin gets hit harder than the top assets. SUI at 68.4 cents could see 30 cents to 40 cents in a real drawdown. That's not a reason to avoid it, but it's a reason to size it correctly and not bet the portfolio on a single outcome. So here's my direct take. SUI is a watch closely or small position buy right now, not a reckless all-in. The fundamentals are legitimately strong. The team has real pedigree. The technology solves actual problems. And the price is still at a level where a patient investor can build a meaningful position before the next wave of attention arrives. If you're already holding SUI from higher levels, the data suggests this is not the moment to panic sell. The setup is still intact. If you're on the sidelines, the key level to watch is a clean break and hold above $1. That's the psychological and technical trigger that historically brings in the next wave of buyers and starts getting SUI into broader conversations. Below that, we're still in accumulation territory. Don't chase. Don't size in more than you can hold through a 50% drawdown without flinching. And watch the Bitcoin macro, because no matter how strong the SUI fundamentals are, the tide of the broader market will pull every boat. Subscribe to Crypto Sayans. We break down the top coins every week, so you never miss a move like this before it goes mainstream. Hit the bell so you actually see it when it drops.